Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Glassman's World. Let me readjust this a little bit. There you go. That'll be a better angle for you. All right. Hello and welcome to the Glassman's World. I'm Dan the Glassman, and we're about to just work on some simple spinning tops here. This one's actually it's a defunct one. The color's messed up. It's got some divots and things. Letting me know my connection is unstable. Last time I went live, I sounded like a chipmunk. So we'll see how this goes. We'll try to just make at least one quick demonstration, and then I'll let you guys go. But this video might cut out a lot sooner than that. So we're going to do a quick, simple demo on how to make a spinning top, which is basically just melting the tip of the glass here, mashing it down flat, adding a little dot of color directly in the center, and that's got to be centered or it'll wobble and it won't spin correctly. And then after that, cutting it off of the rod here, and as you cut it, you got to pull it and shape it into that there. So hopefully we can make this happen really quickly. Hopefully the video doesn't cut out before that. Like I said, a lot of times this computer glitches. I found out this is a Chromebook, LG Chromebook. It's a standalone computer. Basically, it's just a screen that has a keyboard and a mouse that plugs into it. It was gifted to me about a year ago, but apparently it's 10 years old and it's gone through all of its updates. So I think this computer is pretty much obsolete, and that's why it's been giving me problems. I don't know if that's specifically why I sounded like a All right, everyone. Good morning and welcome back. Sorry about the wait. Sorry about the glitch. I'm Dan the Glassman. You're watching the Glassman's World. And I'm already in the process of making one of these here. As you can see, I've already melted down the front. I've flattened the front and I've added the colored dot. So now I'm about to add the puntee. And then we're gonna do a flame cut, and we're gonna take this off of the rest of the rod here. Gotta make sure this is perfectly straight. And good morning, Madame Star. It's been a while. I hope you also are having a beautiful day. It's I believe it's 7 o'clock. Am I correct that it's 6:57? Or something 57 wherever you are. My clock on this computer, my computer is 10 years old. I just found out yesterday, and it no longer receives updates. It's a Chromebook, a standalone screen that basically just has a keyboard and a mouse that plugs into it. And this computer just glitches out all the time. But okay, so it is 6:57 or something 57 wherever you're located right now. Awesome. So how you been doing, Madame Star? Did you ever receive your gifts for the giveaway? Did you win on the whole subscriber thing? I tried to make sure I got all those out, but I still have some glass left over from those, some prizes. All right, so now I'm pulling this. I got to make sure this is nice and straight. I gotta really, really keep this nice and accurate. It's basically like pulling a rope nice and taut, and that way it's nice and like a nice tight pull. And then it's all set up, and at this point I can flame cut it off entirely, just like that. And I just basically pull it real slow and let it cut off. And then we have this big old long thing, so it looks like a big old Hershey's Kiss or something. I could give it the Dairy Queen. I don't know if you've ever worked at Dairy Queen. You give it the little Dairy Queen little loop on top. They always made sure. I worked at Dairy Queen, and you had to learn to make that little loop on top. It'd be a little pull and a little spin. Just pull down and... Alright, so now I'm just going to round this. Okay, and I don't sound like a chipmunk, correct? The other day I went live. I don't know if it was the computer. I don't know if it was... I'm guessing it's because I had music in the background. And it picked up on it. And I thought it was low enough that it wouldn't even pick up at all. But I think maybe the video picked up on music, and because of copyright or whatever, I think it glitched my video, and it like sped up all the audio to where you couldn't hear anything, and I just sounded like a chipmunk. Alright, so now what I do is I just round that tip right there, as you can see, and that should be a really nice spinner. As you can see, it when I spin it on the punchy there, it doesn't look like it has any sort of wobble or anything. So this one we'll be able to try out. Like I said, the yellow on this one here, when I tried to spin it, it doesn't really spin unless I give it a very good spin, and then it spins a little bit. Alright. So I don't know if you heard my question, if you were one of the winners for the giveaway, the prize giveaway, and if you got all of your glass. Oh, okay, yes, I won. No, I haven't received it. I sound perfect. Okay, not like a chipmunk. Okay, I know that I got that information on the 19th. I'm pretty sure. I will make sure that you get it. I'm wondering if it... Now I need to double check and see. I have the glass right here. I still have the case. Let me see if I have your glass. I don't know if I have the list anymore. Maybe it's in the case. Alright, but there's one. Let's make another one real quick, and then I'll check that list. Alright, we're just going to put this right there. I'll let it cool down, and I can test it out. And then later on, I'll just put them all in the kiln. That way they're all nice and solid. They're all tempered glass. So I'm sorry about that you never received it. You know, I did send out as many as I possibly could, and I don't know why yours wasn't sent out. I don't know if there was a holdup for some reason, or if it got lost in the mail. But I will always honor what I always say. So if it was sent and it got lost for some reason, and it's not in this case of all the giveaway glass, then let me know what you want, and I'll remake everything, and I'll do the best I can to replicate it. And thank you so much for asking about my wife. This week she's actually been feeling pretty bad. I don't know what's going on. If it's like it has to do with solar flares and the storms that have been coming in. We've been getting a lot of big thunderstorms and big old clouds that come in, and the barometric pressure. Whenever storms come in, she can feel it. So this week she hasn't been feeling too good. But thank you for asking. It's always an up and down thing. Sometimes she has good weeks and good days, and sometimes she has bad weeks and bad days. And we did a lot too. It was our son's birthday. We did a lot. So she really wore herself down. All right, this is rounded. The trick to this now is mashing it on the pad and keeping it perfectly round when I mash it. So I got to spin it as I mash it. And then I have to hold it at eye level and spin it and make sure that it's perfectly level, or at least to my eye level. And then when I spin it right there, I see it has a little bit of a wobble. You see that? Let me see if I can straighten that out. I'm going to go heat up underneath the disc. Let's try to flatten that out. So they have to be so perfect. And I know why it got like that. Okay, that's a lot better. See that? Now when I spin it, see, I'm spinning the glass like this. It's spinning, spinning, spinning around. But because it's so nice and straight, it looks like it's almost not spinning. So now, the trick is to put the glass directly in the center. Not right there. That's not center, but right somewhere like that. So this part I got to stop breathing and hold my breath and do it all properly. All right, so now I mash it down, and then I pull it, and hopefully it pulled perfectly centered directly in the middle, right on the bottom there. I'll wipe off a lot of the excess color there, that way I don't have too big of a dot. So I'm just heating up the glass and I'm wiping it back onto the rod. So now all that glass is on here. I pulled a lot of it from there. So now I just round the dot here. All right. So you're wondering how the weather was near us and if it was affecting her. I hope she feels better as the weather gets warmer and drier. It has been a long winter here for us in Chicago. Okay, thank you for reminding me where you're at in Chicago. I've been paying attention to the weather out there towards I don't know, what do you call that? The Mid-East in that region there. But there's been a lot of crazy weather and tornadoes, and I don't know. People have been catching things on radars and stuff, and seeing how the different towers are affecting the movement of the clouds. This is pretty interesting. All right, so I think I have that pretty centered. When I spin it, it's got a slight wobble on the dot, just a slight one. Not too bad. So these are really hard to make, to keep them perfectly centered. But if they have a little bit off, if they're a little off, it won't be too bad. But if I can get them perfect, and when you spin them, and it looks like they're just standing up and not doing anything. Like they don't even look like they're spinning when they're so perfect. And that's what I try to achieve every time. All right, and then I just got to make sure this punchy is nice and straight, so that way when I pull it, it doesn't get pulled crooked. So these are difficult, but they're easy. Like they're quick and simple for me to make. This is one of my $5 items, and the reason why I'm making more spinning tops right now is because I sold out. I normally have like 20 to 40 of them on display. I've recently pulled out a little, like a silver kind of pan. I don't know what it's made out of, stainless steel or aluminum or something, but it's basically just like a little, like a plate. Got a rim on it, so you can spin these on there and try them out, test them out. Okay, so you're not too far from Chicago, huh? Oh, so they say the Midwest. See, and that's interesting because you guys are to the east of us, right? We're the Southwest. So it's just you guys are, it's weird. Like, I wouldn't even think you guys are on the western part of the United States, right? But I guess you're the middle part, and then towards the, but no, see, Midwest would be like, the middle of the U.S. would be like where Kansas is, South Dakota, North Dakota, Oklahoma, all those states right there. That would be like center, right? That would be mid, and anything to the west of that would be Midwest. Like we would be Midwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but we'd be South Midwest. But we don't say South Midwest here. We just call ourselves the Southwest. And then you got the North Shore, the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. You got the California coast. But okay, I have heard the Midwest, and I was going to say that, but it didn't make sense to me to say the Midwest. That's interesting. Okay, cool. Thanks for educating me on that. It is confusing. So recently, to share with y'all, I left. We recently got a vehicle, right? Oh, sorry, I hit the camera. We recently got a vehicle after 3 years of not having a vehicle. And I've been trying to get out and doing a lot more vending events and stuff. And it's been really good and a lot of fun. It's been nice to be able to get out to different scenery and to see a different crowd, different people coming out. And recently, last weekend, for the first time ever, I left the city of Albuquerque and went to go vending somewhere else for the first time in a long time. I guess not for the first time ever, but for the first time in a really long time. And here, let's see if this one's cooled down enough. Yeah, usually by the time I make one, then the other one is cooled down. So let's try this out. Oh yeah, look at that. That's been beautiful. It's got a tiny bit of a wobble, but not too bad. But yeah, these are so much fun. And then when you get good at it, and you can hold them upside down like this and spin them on their top. I do that all the time. I share that. I show that off. But yeah, these are fun. When my first child was 3 years old, I started making these as a just something my child could play with at three. And my child at 3 years old was a mature 3-year-old. Didn't put things in her mouth and stuff like that. So I was able to to trust my child not to swallow this. But every child's different. But I sell these for $5, five for 20. I can ship them anywhere around the world as long as you're willing to pay shipping. And they make excellent stocking stuffers, perfect little birthday gift. And for me, like it's like a glass fidget toy. It's a fidget. That's what it is. You just sit here all day. You just like sit and just spin it all day. Just sit here, spin, 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 spin. It's a fidget toy, a glass fidget toy. So $5, five for 20, and then I can wholesale them. But let's see. I'm gonna make one more, maybe two more. Let's see how long they take. I'll continue my story. So this last weekend, on Saturday, friends of mine at the Sunday market that I vend at in Nob Hill, they invited me to another market for Saturday, which was out in Placitas, New Mexico. And Placitas is basically just north of Albuquerque, right behind the Sandia Mountains, like where the mountains kind of peak out, and where the I forget what that trail is called, but Placitas is a beautiful town just north of us, just to the east of Bernalillo, New Mexico, and very close to the Santa Ana Indian reservation there, the Pueblo, Santa Ana Pueblo. And the last time I was in Placitas was actually during a filming for a TV show that they were doing, a sci-fi a TV series called Tremors, which you may recognize from the old movies back in the 80s or the 90s, with Kevin Bacon and a bunch of other actors, and those big giant desert worms, right? I don't know if you guys remember Tremors, but they were going to do a TV series called Tremors, and we filmed out there at actually some ruins, at an old Indian ruins out there. And it was pretty interesting. But then the show never got picked up. I guess they didn't have funding, or no one purchased it or whatever, and it never became anything. All right. So the last time that one came out really crooked was because I was trying to do it in the camera so you guys could see what I was doing, instead of holding it up to my eye level, which is basically right here. I guess I could do it like that, as long as I do it. But then it wouldn't look like it's level for you guys. So that was a lot of fun. Working on that set. And Placitas is so beautiful, and it's just a different scenery than Albuquerque. Albuquerque is a big city, a big city scene, and the cars everywhere, the hustle and bustle. And Placitas is just like a really nice, chill town. Completely different feel, completely different vibe, and also a different view of the mountains, of the Sandia Mountains. So being able to be more northern of them and looking down to the south, you can see a lot of different structures and things on the mountain that you don't see from where we're at here in Albuquerque. So that was a really good experience. At first, it was really slow going, and I thought that I was going to be paying $15 to sit up there and only make a $5 sale. I was like, okay, well, that's great. But then things picked up, and I ended up making a decent day in sales, and it was worth my time there. And also, I made several new friends out there. And several new connections and several orders. So now I have to go back up there to Placitas. They do the market every 2 weeks. So every, I guess like the second and the fourth Saturday of the month is when they do it. Uh-oh. I noticed this one went on a little crooked. So what I'm going to do is literally push the glass over and force it more center. There we go. That looks better. So I got orders for some earrings. Someone saw some of my miniatures, the little wine bottles and little tiny glasses, the martini glasses that I make. And so she wants me to make those, but with hoops on them, so they can be earrings. And they also do a horse rescue, wild horse rescue. So they help to feed them and keep them safe and take care of them. You know, with all the urban development, the wild horses don't really have places to run safely anymore. But we still have wild horses that run freely here. Even just that close, this close to Albuquerque. You know, Placitas is like maybe a 20-minute drive from here. It's not even that far. What's crazy is anywhere in Albuquerque is about 20 minutes. In city, you deal with traffic and lights and stuff, but when you jump on the highway, you know, then you can reach like Bernalillo or Placitas within 20 minutes as well. So things aren't really far to get to for us here. I think a lot of people they just have this like, don't want to drive-itis. They just don't want to get out and drive. They don't want to be out in traffic, I guess, which we don't have traffic. If you lived in California, then you would know traffic. We don't have traffic. We have some moments where traffic will build up, you know, because they don't have the lights timed properly to work right. So then they just have you always stopping and going. Like, oh, green light to go, so you can hit another red light. So you can wait to hit a green light. And, you know, if the city was wise, they would just time the lights so they'd all flow. But I don't think we don't have the proper AI technology to figure anything like that out. I don't know if they do that on purpose. They try to just make it to where it's always stop and go traffic. Like, do they do that on purpose? They could easily have this timed properly. The other thing too is I think because the cameras are set up, there's cameras on the signals. So I think what it is too is if there's no traffic coming, then the light changes, so then the other traffic can go. So then it allows the flow at that intersection to flow, but it doesn't allow the flow of the overall city to flow, if you know what I'm saying. All right, how has vending been for you? Yeah, doing some 420 events, and yeah, the van is running good. I do need to work on some more things still on it. Of course, it's a vehicle, right? Like, always got to constantly work on it, maintain it, just up with the maintenance, keep up with it. But yeah, it's doing well. It got me to Tijeras this past Saturday. Drove beautifully. It's got a slight shimmy at about 60, 63, 65 miles an hour, but it runs beautifully at about 70 to 75 miles. It runs smooth on the highway. I really like that. And that's perfect for highway speed, right? Right at 75, under 75. So that was good. Interesting that it had that shimmy at about 65. You know, there's some zones where you have to be at about 65, and I felt that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. You just feel, not big, it's just a tiny little bit. But yeah, it's running beautiful. The events are going well. Every Sunday, that market has grown. It's gone from like, 4 or 5 of us every weekend, every Sunday, to now we got like 12. We got a dozen people out there every weekend. There's only room for like 2 more vendors. I think she can only fit 14 of us. And it's been nice. It's been constant. The sales aren't the biggest where we're at, but I'm not going to complain, that's for sure. Every little bit helps and every little bit counts. There's that other one right there. Cool. There's another one ready to go. It is 7:25. Let's make one more. Let's do this one super quick. I'm going to let you guys go. I need to go get my daughter, pick her up and take her to school from her mom's place. Ever since we got the van, I've been I volunteered myself basically to take her to school every day, so that way she doesn't have to ride a bus. Her mom teaches at the same school she goes to, but not at the same campus. They used to be at the same campus, but then they moved her mom to a completely different campus, to the newer campus, and then the only way for it to work would be for our daughter to go with her mom to school, and then she'd have to ride the bus from that school to the other school, which then she has to jump on a bus with a bunch of 10th graders. She's only in 8th grade, and she's already 2 years advanced. She should be in 6th grade going to 7th, but she's in 8th grade going to 9th. And so, hanging out with 10th graders, I was like, yeah, you don't need to be in there. And she also didn't feel very comfortable, and she didn't know anyone really. So, to alleviate her anxiety and to alleviate mine as well, I just pick her up every morning, take her to school. No biggie. She's not too far away. All right. So we'll make this last one here, and then I'm going to let y'all go. But this is a quick little demo on how to make spinning tops. Not officially a glass blowing lesson or tutorial, but I guess I pretty much was showing how it's done. That's awesome. I'm glad you have a vehicle for you and the wife and the kids. You deserve a good vehicle. Yeah. It's been, 2 or 3 years without a vehicle, and that was very time consuming to have to catch a bus. Every trip was like, at least going somewhere, I'd have to plan at least 3 hours, right? Like an hour and a half to get there, do what you need to do, and then an hour and a half to get back, right? Like, and that was a daily thing. Got to go shopping, go to the store, go vending. I figured out how to vend by taking a bus, and I downsized everything, which now with the vehicle, having everything downsized, that just makes packing up and going like so easy. I don't even like, it's so simple now. So yeah, it's a blessing. Thank you so much. It's really awesome. So Placitas worked out really well as well. Like I said, the sales were slow at first, and then they gradually built up. I found out, after setting up that it was actually a flea market. I didn't know that, but we're allowed to set up and sell our wares as well, all of our handmade, hand blown glass and things like that. So, um, I made decent money, enough that I want to go back and see how it goes. And I met someone from the Santa Fe airport who works in the like private terminal where like celebrities and politicians and military, Air Force and things like that. That's where they, I guess, exit and enter and board through and things like that. And there's a gift shop there. So she wants to put some of my glass balloons in the gift shop there for the exclusive members of the Santa Fe airport, or the exclusive travelers. And she said, not everyone's a celebrity and not everyone has money. I'm like, yeah, of course. But just to be able to have that opportunity, I think is a beautiful thing. I just feel blessed once again to be asked to have this opportunity. I didn't even know something like that existed, that there's a gift shop in there for the private sector. So, so yeah, that's something new and different that'll be happening here. And then I was speaking of the ladies making those little miniatures into earrings. Maybe I'll just start making a bunch of those. And then the ladies at the horse rescue, they also asked about the balloons because they sell items to raise funds for feeding and housing the horses and taking care of them and things like that. So she wants to sell my glass balloons, but was wondering if I could possibly have some kind of a horse theme on it or something like that. So we're gonna see what I can do with some balloons and have a horse on it. And I've already made champagne cowboy. Oops, I knew that was gonna happen. I let the color cool down too much before I put the puntee on, which didn't allow a proper seal. All right, that's better. But you don't want to fuse them, so you got to be careful with how you stick them together. All right. So yeah, so that's a good opportunity there. And then also with the horse rescue, be getting balloons to them. It seems like the glass balloons are extremely popular. And like I said, I do believe that I'll be retiring making glass balloons. That's where I really need to focus and really put all of my energy and effort, or most of my energy and effort towards that. I'm not the type of person that likes to put 100% all into one basket. I have multiple baskets that keep the bounty going. One other thing is um, recently being asked to perform, which wasn't, it was a sad situation having to perform at a funeral. But that basically just like got me feeling the whole vibe of wanting to perform again, getting out into the public. And so I've been trying to play out a little bit here and there, bringing my guitar to the markets and stuff like that. Not miking up, just playing acoustically. and just just letting a few people hear some of the music that I have to offer. But I'm really thinking about booking a couple gigs here and there, maybe one or two a month. Um, I know my friend has been wanting me to come perform at Trail Rider Pizza up in the Sandia Mountains up there in Cedar Crest, actually, North 14, Highway 14, just north of Interstate 40. This one I think has a wobble to it. I see this one's got a wobble. So yeah, that's probably going to be one of the first places that I'm going to book myself. And then another individual came up to me 2 days ago and was wondering if I was performing out and invited me to get a hold of uh, a group, Jams of Enchantment, and see if they would. Well, I guess he said that his wife runs it, and his wife is always looking for solo musicians and always booking. So I may be able to do some booking through Jams of Enchantment again. I used to do some shows through them. So yeah, so we got a few things in the up and coming works here, and just making more glass and more glass. That's a good spinner. Cool. We got 3 good spinners. I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys have a beautiful day, and thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Oh, I see. Austin came in. What's going on? U.S. free market, right? Made in the USA, right here in Nuevo Mexico. We are the new Mexicans in the U.S. We are the new Mexicans of the United States. That's interesting to say it in that way. But that's what we are. We are the New Mexicans of the United States. All right. And then the whole other idea, too, about not just the airport, but also getting the hot air balloons into the Balloon Museum. They recently just celebrated their 20th anniversary, and they have a new exhibit. And I want to go check it out with the family, the kids, and go see what they have on display, and take my glass back to the gift shop there, which they used to sell some of my glass, and I just need to make sure I get it to them. And we just have a reoccurring thing where every month I just bring them more, and every month I bring them more, and every month I bring them more. Yep. Oh, you got some USA Millie coming. What? Oh, dope. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what you got. Yeah, no, the balloons are always moving, They always taking off. They're always getting lifted off my table and being taken home to other places. But yeah, the balloons are one of those things that I knew that was going to be the big ordeal. I knew that was. And so yeah, I was like, let's really make this happen, right? So the glass balloons, awesome thing. And yeah, I thank you all for tuning in and watching. I gotta get going and start my day. I got a little bit of yard work to do as well too. For the lady who helped us get the van, she actually loaned me enough money to purchase the vehicle from my friend who was selling the vehicle. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that is just so awesome and amazing and ridiculous that anyone would even do that, right? So I thought that was so cool. And so, yeah, I feel blessed. I feel fortunate. I give thanks every day, gratitude always offering up water to the altar, always giving thanks and gratitude every morning. And yeah, I appreciate you all for tuning in and watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Much love, and I'll see you guys soon. I'll be coming back doing a lot more live. I just had to get away. I've had a lot of funerals and things like that. And it's just been kind of like down and depressing, and I didn't want to give you guys that energy. So, but I'm back up, working and just vibing away over here. So you guys have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you guys soon.